We got to talk about the man. He's the triple-double machine. Y'all all know who he is. Russell Westbrook. He's healthy. He's averaging a triple-double for the fourth time in his career. Why is Russell Westbrook so disrespected?
Well, when you look at Russell Westbrook's career, I mean, this guy has been extremely disrespected the entire time he's been in the NBA. You know, and the thing is, he's not your average guy at point guard. He's not your average guy that's just going to lay back, watch the entire offense unfold. And I mean, you look at Draymond Green the other night, 2 points, but like 20 rebounds, 15 assists. Like, that's what point guards were coming up, not the whole 2-point thing, and obviously not the rebounds, but you're not necessarily the elite scorer like your forward or your shooting guard might have been. So when you have, you know, Russell Westbrook coming in, and he's not going to be your average guy at point guard, but he really changed the game for the point guard position. I mean, people saying he was doing too much as a point guard. I don't want my guy around the rim. You know, I don't want him necessarily scoring all these points, but do we forget that this is the most athletic point guard we've ever seen? Yes, I say that over Derrick Rose. Easily the most athletic point guard we've ever seen. And you obviously see him elevating Bradley Beal at this point. I mean, yeah, you know, Bradley Beal was scoring, he averaged like 30 and a half last year, and it's really just, you know, half a point, maybe a point up this year. But when you've got him in the Wizards culture, obviously working that offense and being able to do what he's doing, yeah, they're tied for the 10th seed, but they could still get in that play-in tournament if they wanted to. And Russell Westbrook, he might not be an extreme playoff guy, but we know what he brings to the table, and being the most athletic point guard of all time. I mean, how do you discount him? And him being so disrespected and so hated, I don't understand how that happens, because I mean, you look at Drew Brees, what he did for quarterbacks, you look at what Steph Curry did for the game of basketball in terms of shooting. When you have Westbrook coming in and being so athletic, being around the rim, and just having all that energy and just always leaving it on the court every single night, how do you hate on that? You know, how do you disrespect that? And when the people were talking about the MVP season in OKC, kind of felt like the league was enabling him at one point, because that's when he was really, you know, really barking all over social media, talking to the people courtside. But that's Russell Westbrook. I mean, it's kind of like when we were talking about Cam Newton when I first came on the show. Are you surprised that Cam Newton was heckling this fan? No, because it's Cam Newton. If Russell Westbrook is out there talking, if he might be on social media, if he's talking to a fan on the sidelines, like, that's Russell Westbrook. That is who he has come to be. But I think the way he contributes in all aspects of the game, averaging a triple-double like you said, and 4 out of the last 5 years, this is a guy who is undoubtedly a leader. We know he can be a good teammate. And one thing I like is I feel like Russ is trying to get his respect this year from the culture, because now you've got teammates coming out saying, yeah, this whole narrative about Russell Westbrook not being a teammate guy and just only caring about himself and wanting to do what's best for him, that's not true. And I like to see this light get shed on him, because I won't lie, after he won the MVP, I wasn't a fan of it. You know, I wasn't a fan of it at all. But then once I saw him go to the Rockets and then actually be able to go to the Wizards and still be a productive guy with a completely different setup, with a completely different scheme and culture, I got to give my hat to him, man. I mean, this is a guy who really changed the point guard position. So he's got my respect. No disrespect on my end, but we know how the media is. We know how the critics are. And of course, him not having a ring is just going to kind of be that stupid barrier to where people are never going to look at him. But like I said, this guy is already a legendary point guard. He's already all time. Even if he doesn't win a ring, if he retired today, he's an all-timer. So Russ has my respect. I love the way he plays the game, man.
I mean, if he retired today, he's absolutely going straight into the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
And there will be no question about it. I mean, the dude for his career is averaging 23, 7, and almost 9.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets dumped on a lot for bad decision-making and shot process, like his shot selections. But
didn't even mention that.
I mean, he plays 1,000 miles an hour, and he's actually tuned that down a little bit. I mean, it's not that easy to average a triple-double. It's only been done once outside of him, and he's now on his 4th season doing it. The man did it for 3 years in a row, is headed towards it again. And for the people who are the player efficiency rating gurus, he's 24th all time in player efficiency rating. You just say, oh, 24th. Let me just give you a few of the people that he's actually ranked ahead of. He's ahead of Oscar Robinson. He's ahead of Kobe, Jerry West, Dirk, Dame Lillard, your boy. He's ahead of John Stockton, Allen Iverson, Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, now you really
He's ahead of Steve Nash and Gary Payton.
Oh, you pissing the people off now.
His efficiency rating is higher than all of them. But y'all dump on him because every now and then he make a bad decision. All of them did. And, you know, most of them don't have rings either. Like, man, he did his thing. He's still doing his thing. He's out there and watching. He's on his 3rd team, and he's out there doing dirt.
Right.
It's like, I don't see how anyone could dislike this guy. Like, what you just don't like because he doesn't fit the regular mold. He may not be a traditional point guard. He's like more like an actual guard. Like, don't point or shooting in front of him. He's a guard.
Exactly, because he can do it all. Then, I mean, if people want to really crap on him for not being able to shoot the basketball, I mean, doesn't he make up for it in every other category? He knows how to pass the ball. He definitely can be around the rim. I mean, he could be your leading rebounder as a point guard. And like I said, that's why Russ has so much of my respect, because when you look at a guy that changed the position, who coming out of college was kind of doubted, and it's like, oh, he's not your normal guy. But he paved the way for some of these point guards that are coming up, that are being that more athletic style, that have their hands more in the offense, that might want to drop 30, 35, 40 points a game because that is their role. I mean, hell, look at Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving can put some points up. And I think if you don't have Russell Westbrook being that explosive guy that really wants to take over a team, it's like, would you even potentially see Kyrie Irving flourishing as much as he is now? I know he hasn't had a marvelous NBA career, but he's definitely had a good one, you know? So
like Ja Morant and Donovan Mitchell, both of them.
There you go. Ja Morant right there, a guy who is primed to be the face of the NBA.
And both of these guys look up to Russ. Like, he is their idol.
Exactly.
He's the one that they modeled their game after him.
Exactly.
Both of them obviously shoot better than Russ, but they want to play exactly in the likeness of him. And you can see it when they get on the court with him. It's like they're honored to be like, hey, I'm playing against Russ today.
Exactly.
Like, I really got to bring it because they want to be like him.
Exactly. And how do you disrespect a guy who was at worst the second best player on every team he's been on? At worst, he has been the second best player. And really, it was only majority second best because he played next to KD. I mean, let's just be real. Let's just call it what it is, you know? So there's plenty of instances where Russell Westbrook can be 100% your guy. Like, he could be your number one guy if you needed to. But that's the thing that messes me up is, you know, like we've been talking about traditionally, he's broken a lot of the standards, which is why he gets that disrespect. But people don't understand that the NBA is drastically changing. Like, when you have superstars not staying with their teams, moving on to other ones, when they're still in their prime, oh, maybe they want to move off you when you have old legs. No, I want to go now. I want to win with the team now. When you have Westbrook coming in, playing the position that way, why would you want to take that away? Because honestly, I mean, you can say it's broke because he hasn't won a title, but you can't deny he's laying it out there every single game. Every single game, Russell Westbrook is out there putting his heart and his blood, his sweat, his tears, all on the court. And at the worst, he's the second best player on the court. I don't understand it. I really don't.
All the people who dump on him for those playoff losses. Yeah, if y'all actually remember these series correctly, when they were up 3-1 against Golden State, they were winning games 5, 6, and 7 late into the fourth quarter. And what did Russell Westbrook do? He passed the ball to Kevin Durant every single trip down the floor, and Kevin Durant wasn't coming through.
Exactly, the number one player.
He stopped shooting. He was like, hey, give the ball to that guy. Like, KD didn't come through. That was not Russ's fault.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Like, I'm going to need y'all to put some respect on that man's name.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
I'm right there with you, man.
Like, he's about to drag this team into the playoffs. I mean, they are in the 10th spot, but, I mean, there's not that many games left.
Right.
If they get into this play-in tournament and they make the playoffs as the 8th seed, there'll be a problem for whether it's Philly or Brooklyn, whoever manages to stay in that one spot.
Right.
I don't think they'll beat them, but there'll be a problem. With Russ and Bradley Beal out there, that's not going to be a sweet walk-through series.
Exactly. They're not an easy out. And I think when you have Russell Westbrook on any team, he's not going to be an easy out because he might be the most passionate player in the NBA since he's come in up until now. And I know I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers saying that, but what guy truly comes to the court every single game, and you can tell every play is 100%. And, you know, like you said, he got down on that, and he's slowed it down some, but that's him. That's who he is. I mean, like I said, we talk about Cam Newton and the personality. It's really the same with Russell Westbrook at the end of the day.
And then he came back out and said, respect my defense. Because if you remember last week when we were talking about Steph Curry and his streak, I said the only game in the midst of this streak that I'm worried about him not scoring 30 is against Washington because Russell Westbrook ain't having it.
Right.
He only put up 18 points against that man.
There you go.
He destroyed that streak.
Exactly.
He came right back after that, scored 30 again.
Yep.
It's the intensity. Russ take it personally. Like, man, you ain't scoring 30 on me.
And I took that personal. and I took that personal. I'm sorry.
He did. And he showed everybody. And then he had to say something about it after the fact to make sure you knew that that's why it happened.
Right.
So, man, hats off to Russ.
Oh, yeah.
I need the folks, whether it be media, fans, whoever it is, show this man some respect. The dude has 175 triple-doubles. He's second only to Oscar Robertson.
175?
He's second by like 8. Like, there's not very many. He's going to pass Oscar shortly.
Absolutely. And you know, it really makes you wonder, would it ever get broken? Like, would that triple-double record ever get broken?
I mean, I don't see anyone putting him up at a clip like that. He's got 29 of them this season.
Exactly. I remember when it first happened a few seasons ago, and it was like triple-double, 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 and then like we started counting the numbers up, and it's like, wow, like this guy is actually balling on the court. And I think that's when the media, ironically enough, the better Russell Westbrook gets, the more the media hates him. And in a way, that's why I continue to support him, because he's embracing his differences, still dominating in his position. Yes, we know he could shoot the ball better. There's no question about that. But at the end of the day, if you play to his strengths, he will at worst be the second best player on your team.
Oh, absolutely, man. And like the few times when his shot is falling, he's absolutely unguardable.
Right.
Like, he'll give you a 40-point, 50-point triple-double with no problem if he's hitting.
Absolutely.
There's just nothing you can do with him. He's entirely too fast.
Nope.
Too strong. You forget that he's 6'3". Like, him and Steph Curry are the same size.
Right. He plays like he's 6'6",
he plays
6'7".
like he's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah, it's pure craziness. So, for the last time, get off Russ. It's ridiculous. Y'all got to cut it out. You see the man in that snarl on the screen. It's Russ. Just watch and enjoy. How could you not like watching a dog like that every single night? I don't care if they playing the defending champs or the worst team in the league. He's coming for it.
Exactly.
Gotta respect that. I wish more players were like that.
Yeah.
But for that reason, I rock with Russ.
Yes, sir. Right there with you, brother.
And I'm a UCLA fan, so I like Russ anyway.
Oh, you already know. You already know.